the skills that a digital analyst needs in this coming day and age, especially with privacy being a huge focus, is really understanding the fundamentals of privacy. So ultimately, no matter how much you're working with data, you're responsible for it, and therefore, especially if you're in a management position, you need to understand the foundations of the privacy regulation in whichever country you're working in or living in, so that you can make sure to apply those principles. So for example, you need to understand concepts of data minimization so that you don't keep everything. You need to understand your retention policies. So it's a lot more than just analyzing at this point. It is needing to understand what you require from tools so that they can be privacy friendly, so you can work with them, and understanding how you can manage your own data. There are so many responsibilities that you're going to have, such as needing to keep your data accurate and clean, up to date. You need to not keep it past a certain time frame. How are you storing it? How are you keeping it secure? So it helps you because it means your tables are less messy, and it means you'll have easier data to analyze. But at the same time, really, really need to understand what kind of regulations you're working in. And that's going to be different depending on if you're in the US or in the EU or various other countries. But understanding the basics, it's not your job to make sure you're compliant, but it is your job to understand the basics so that you can make sure you structure your data accordingly. Legal and marketing definitely hold up a little bit of what you're doing as an analyst. And it's a tricky relationship, right? So marketing is actually a little bit easier because marketing needs to come to you, right? And you work with them together. But the moment the legal team or the data protection officer get involved, you're going to hear a lot of no's, there's a lot of holdups, and it causes frustration. A really good way to handle that is, again, for you to have a really clear understanding of the foundational principles so that you can apply that automatically. If you go to your legal team or your DPO and you come to them prepared, knowing already roughly what you're talking about, it's going to be a lot easier for them to communicate with you. So if you, for example, need to collect a certain amount of data for a marketing campaign and you've already done your research and you know how you're going to collect it, how you're going to store it, what the purpose is, what the retention is, how you're going to keep it accurate. If you know all of these little bits already and you've prepared that, then you can go to your legal team and say, I've done the work here. Just please review this and give me the approval. But if you go to them and say, I have a marketing campaign and I just want to collect data, that's going to make it very hard for them to work with. And this is part of the reason they get held up. We have to remember that legal and DPO do not necessarily, or most of the time, don't understand data, how it works, or how it works within the marketing team. So it's your job to make it as clear to them as to why you're doing it and what the purpose is so that they can make an easier decision. And it'll help you in getting an answer quicker.